Welcome to another exciting episode of the Business of Digital podcast, featuring your hosts, Matt Siltala and Dave Rohr. Hey guys, excited to have you on another one of these Business of Digital podcast. Looking forward to chatting with you about this one, especially today. This is something that's near and dear to my heart and right up my alley. But before we get into all that, hey Dave, how's it going?
It is going, sir.
Are you there?
You know a bit about this. You know a bit about this one. I am a complete amateur when it comes to photography stuff, but you are not.
Well, and again, you know, Dave just shared it, but basically what we're going to do today, guys, is just kind of go over a little bit of some tips with photography when it comes to business photo shoots, business, whether it's professional headshots that you're looking for, whether it's, you know, the food shots if you're in the restaurant industry, you know, whether it's just anything and everything related to
products for your Google shopping, yep. Amazon, for your Instagram,
all that stuff.
Yeah, all the photography stuff. Or the stuff we just talked about recently with, you know, Mike, and about, you know, your Google posts and the different stuff you should be doing on your Google local stuff.
Well, I thought it was a good way to start this or kick this off was something that you had mentioned when we were chatting beforehand, how beneficial some of this could be to, and critical almost for some small business owners. For example, there's a group that I've been working with at my, you know, a restaurant that my son, his first job, and I took a bunch of their pictures, and I got a notification from Google the other day that, and again, I took them with a nice DSLR, and I, you know, specifically made a point to have the right lighting and to make them look good and to set them up where they looked good. But I didn't do anything special other than that. I mean, I didn't have a special photo shoot for it. I just brought the nice camera and I made sure I had some good lighting. I knew what I was looking for in the shot, and I posted them. And I got notification the other day that, hey, this particular image is making a difference, and it's already got 5,000 views. And you know what? This is the kind of stuff that is crucial for a small business owner, especially opening up a restaurant when, you know, people are searching, looking for information on them, looking, you know, trying to decide what they want for lunch, trying to decide if something's going to be a good, you know, spot or not. And they're looking at these photos, and that's helping them make this decision. In fact, this business owner had told me, she said, I can't remember exactly how she put it, but basically someone had come in and showed him the picture and was like, I want this. And so she was like, I know that your photo is making a difference because people are coming in and saying, you know, this is what I want. I don't know what it is. I don't know what you call it, but this is what I want. And so again, you know, that's the kind of stuff that's going to help these businesses. Now, it's not to say that when other people take photographs of your food when they're there, that they're not going to be beneficial or they're not going to be helpful or people aren't going to be able to research based on them. But it just goes to show you that the more quality ones, the ones that we're thinking about for the business, whether it be, you know, if we're the business-minded ones taking the photographs, we're going to care that that sandwich is put together nicely. We're going to care that it's not like got a bite out of it or 2 bites or half eaten. And those are a lot of the pictures that you'll get from just normal people that are uploading that. And I can guarantee you that those kind of pictures won't get those kind of searches or notifications like I got from Google. And so it just reminds me also, Dave, of one that I got from, you know, one that I took from the lodge that I go to in Alaska every year. And basically this photo has gotten viewed like over several 100,000 times. And the owners have told me many times that people come to them and say, I saw this particular image, and they know exactly which one it is. But they're like, I saw this one and I'm booking because of that particular one. So those are just a couple of my opening thoughts. I don't know if you had any opening or any other thoughts to add to that, Dave.
I think any business should balance professional photos and hiring someone every so often with, you can use your iPhone or your, Google Pixel or whatever it is, Pixel, whatever, or, like a Samsung or, just a normal phone. I think there should be a balance. You don't have to do a photo shoot every week with your specials, but I think there is a time and a place for like headshots. If you have an agency or an internal team and you want to show that we're a real company and that we have real people behind us, just doing the half-arsed kind of photo shoot where you just kind of walk around. No, have a professional come in. Declare a day where you're going to do photos and take them for everyone.
And set them up in front of your logo that's in the background. That's one of the things like I've always done, and I've always made a point with with Avalanche and every one of those people that share, every one of the employees that share the image or share the picture or use it as a profile or whatever.
Good point.
It's good branding for us as well.
Yeah, for a LinkedIn, everyone will have it. Or if they use it on Twitter, LinkedIn, anywhere that's a professional type of social network and they use it, there's your logo. There's a good headshot, but then there's also your logo. And it also makes it so that as people come and go and you keep hiring new people, there's a consistent background that people can always use.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. And so there's lots of different tricks and tips and whatnot. As far as lighting goes, again, if you don't have any kind of special equipment, what I would probably recommend is getting in one of your rooms that has the lightest room, lots of windows, lots of natural light. And again, we've kind of addressed this whole issue with backgrounds, but there's lots of different types of backgrounds. Like, for example, one of the things in one of our offices, we have what's called the Yeti wall. It's this massive wall that's basically a mural of a really cool designed type Yeti. And so a lot of people want to get their pictures behind that. And that's branding as well. People know that they associate that with Avalanche Media as well. And so, as far as backgrounds, like always pick something that can help you with branding. Lighting, always make sure that the lighting is right so you have, so those photos look good. So you get that really good, just that, the crispness, is that a word, in their face. And there's lots of, there is different, if you do have access to any kind of lighting gear, obviously setting up some sort of soft boxes on the left and the right, or if you just have one of them, make sure you have you can even use something as simple as like a poster board that's white, for the whatever side you don't have that softbox on, and it can reflect the light and balance the shading and stuff like that. And so typically on something like that, you're not going to need to do any kind of tripods. You'll be able to set it up, again, if your lighting's good, you'll be able to just handheld it and get the exact kind of zoom in how you want. Typically, again, for headshots that are going to go on LinkedIn or you're going to use professionally, you don't really need to do a whole lot of the body. It's typically just the head, maybe a little bit of the shoulders and chest, but typically that's what it's like. Now, again, if there's other situations like with us with the Yeti wall, and I'll give you some of these examples that we'll throw in the post, but it might be a little bit different. But I don't know if there was any other specific questions that you were thinking of, Dave, as far as regards with lighting, backgrounds, timing, things like that. But if not, we can move on to something else.
Move on. Well, I think dress professionally or dress how you do in the office.
Oh yeah, good.
Make sure
good
that
idea.
Everyone, if you're gonna hire a photographer or a team to come in, and I've worked at places before in agencies where sometimes it was ad hoc. Like if you start and there's in between once a quarter, they would have someone come in, or once a year, depending on the turnover and your hiring rate. You don't always have everyone at the same time, but if you're a big enough company and you can go and buy just a basic DSLR have that spot like you guys have it at Avalanche, have it set up where someone starts. First thing you do is, but even if you're not big enough where you need quote unquote badges or there's something like that, maybe you just pretend you do. Like, all right, first day, we're going to do photo shoot. We assume most people on their first day kind of overdress a little bit. Tell them, what to come in wearing and saying, hey, we're going to be doing, we don't have badges or we don't have this, but we want to get your photo up there. We want to, send it out to the team internally, blah, 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 and start from there. And then, if you always have a spot, you always have a camera, someone just busts it out, set it up. And it's always like, even frame it in and say, okay, we always have this and this, and then it's a consistent. So when you look at the agency or you look at the website for the team, everyone's got a consistent background, consistent thing. And then they can when they update their LinkedIn and, and say, hey, I started a new job. It's pretty cool so far. It's only day one. Yeah. They can update their photo too for free. And then again, like you said, you can use the branding and stuff.
And you know what I was thinking while we were talking about all this? It doesn't have to be too expensive. I was thinking about a photo shoot we did for products. There's a company that I'm a part of, Beard Oil, and surprise, and we did
Shock.
we did a photo shoot for some new products that we had going on, and the only thing that makes our photos look professional. I mean, obviously we use good cameras, but we have taken ones with Google Pixels as well. But the DSLR I just have access to because I have it, but we have used just the phone camera before, like on the Pixel, and it's turned out phenomenal because we're just dropping these products and putting them in a light box, and you could get a light box for fairly super cheap. It's just like a little square box, depending on how big the products are that you're offering, but you could go and just do a little search on Amazon. You can find them anywhere from, $40 all the way up to a couple $100. I think the one that we use was like a couple $100, but it has lighting built in and it has zippers, making it easy really to surround it with nothing but light. And you want to find those kind that don't have creases, and it makes everything, like if you go and look at products and they have a really nice white background and you're not seeing any kind of creases or anything, it's because they're using some sort of a light box, and then just keeping that and this is where I would recommend using some kind of a tripod, so all of your distancing with your products and everything that you have and what you put on the website, it all looks consistent. So no matter what they're looking at it about it from the same advantage point, if you will, Dave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that works. Well, and also, we keep saying DSLR. I think even if you have a professional photo shoot going on where they're coming and taking pictures of, the tables or your new product that you're launching, or, you're doing whatever it is, or, you're on site. If you're a contractor of some sort and you're on site and you ask, make it part of your permission and say, hey, when we're done with the job, there's a little thing here. Are you okay with us taking photos? And have the guys and gals that are out in the field take photos. And sometimes you'll come back and, maybe the photos aren't going to be great, but then you'll have a whole, like maybe you're doing carpentry stuff. If you do 5 projects a month of one type and 5 of another and 5 of another, maybe each month one of those will turn out really great. Or it'll be relevant to what you need. And now you have all this content that's been taken over time.
Well, and I like something that you said earlier too about, it doesn't always have to be
just
the
a phone,
because I was thinking, like with the restaurants, for example, and a lot of the stuff that I have them do with their social media, you don't need that high. I mean, what are you going to do with a high resolution DSLR image anyway, Dave? You're going to strip it down and make it work for web. And so a lot of times just whatever you do with your phone is perfect for the stuff that you do with social. It's more about, like with Instagram, for example, and building that following, getting people to follow it for the reason they're not coming and following you because they want that high resolution, perfect looking picture. They're coming to you because they want information. They want to know, what deal am I getting today? Or is that your special dessert for today? Or are you open? Are you out of, like I follow Little Miss Barbecue, And I follow them because, there's times when I'm like, I want to venture out to Phoenix today, but I want to know that they're going to be open, and I want to know that when I'm looking, they do a very good job of letting people know when they're out of brisket or they're out of this or that. And so it helps people like us, if we're going to make the venture, to not have to waste time. And it's like super helpful. And that's the kind of stuff that we're looking at. The photos are awesome and the photos benefit, but it's almost like second nature with that kind of stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and for them, they could easily get one good photo of brisket and then, use some sort of Instagram app or Canva or any of those, and just create only a couple left. Hurry up so that they can drop it into their Instagram and Facebook stories whenever needed. Or
perfect example
say,
what
we're
we
out
do
of
with
it.
our pictures and episodes.
What's that?
Perfect example of what we do with our pictures and our episode numbers.
Yeah, and I have it basically custom. Like we use the one photo, it's boilerplate, and we just keep swapping in the same thing. But then, like to your point, if they run out of stuff, it's like, oh well, if I'm going to go there. Let me see if they still have it. Oh, they haven't posted yet that they're out of XYZ. Yep. Let's go.
Exactly, and that's the thing that I try to help all the small business owners that I
but they can reuse it too.
Well, yeah, just use that, use it, reuse it, and but figuring out the different techniques, or the different, like you were talking about with the wording and Canva makes it very easy to do stuff like that, or whatever program that you're using. So
I use Canva and Relay that currently.
There you go.
For most of my stuff or for my clients.
And like we said, we'll drop this on the write-up for everyone that's listening. So.
And you can just use it when, and sometimes I've even just, sometimes when I Snapchat, rarely, sorry. You can create stuff in Instagram and then I save it. And I've used that as a post before too.
Oh yeah.
And I've seen other people do it where they repost it themselves, or they'll screen capture their own Instagram post and then post it as a story.
Yep.
It's all about reusing content. And I think the other thing that we haven't mentioned, unless you did and I missed it, or maybe I did, is plan out your day.
Yeah,
or plan out your shoot. Yeah, like if you're a restaurant, or if you're some sort of seasonal business, and that coming up it's spring, people are going to want yard work done. What kind of content would we need, or do we have it already? Yeah. Or if you have a new product launch, I would think that it's going to be for this sport, or it's going to be for this target audience. For hikers or whatever. What kind of photo shoots? What kind of internal, external? What do you need content-wise? What do you need visually? And plan it out.
Well, I even think about like what we've done in the past. How we've talked about sessions that we know that we're going to be speaking on together, and so we'll plan out. We'll wear the same kind of themed shirt because we know people are going to take pictures of it, and we know people are going to take pictures of us together. And again, that's content that we're going to put out there on these different channels. It's like we've used one image forever because it's so perfect of the both of us, but we create these other ones because there's opportunities where we'll use them again and again. But that's something that we've planned out and like, hey, let's do this. What are you going to wear? What are you going to wear? And so there's just all kinds of opportunities for stuff like that.
Yeah. And I'm just trying to think, what else have we missed? Talked about LinkedIn profile photos. You talked about lighting. I think framing the shot, like I have some friends here in Chicago that are graphic designers and they work with a lot of restaurants, and every so often they'll be posting like behind the scenes photos of them taking, like influencer type photo shoots. And it's kind of funny because they're like, she was like, recent one was she was standing on a chair over a table with, the camera and stuff. And that's to do, you need to plan it out. Whether you go local and find a photographer, whether someone that is, perhaps more professional photographer than me, because you're going to get what you pay for and you're going to get that experience. But I don't think you have to hire one, but you probably should, at least for some things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think if you do have a professional coming over and you're taking photo and they're coming over, him or her, whoever it is, also grab someone that has a good eye. And ask them to take whatever the best camera or the camera phone you have, and have them spend the day like following them and capturing additional photos. So you get different angles and different quality and just different angle, just different everything. So that one photo shoot, that one day spent where you close your restaurant or you've got all these people spending time, make sure you create enough content that you can possibly use on or off for, the next, I don't know, month, 6 months, quarter, year.
Yeah.
And make the most out of it. And then, as we talked about with Mike, you can slowly drop those into your Google Posts, which will then feed into your Google, the images that show up for your restaurant or your local business, or your national business at different locations.
And we've all been noticing how much more prevalent those are becoming. Like they're becoming more and more of a search factor, especially with mobile going more and more. And so,
yep.
Well, awesome. The only final thought that I had was just kind of piggybacking onto what you were talking about with just taking advantage of your different locations and snapping as many pictures as possible. I remember back to when we did our mattress photo shoots. Okay, we had multiple locations and just different cool looking rooms, and we snapped as many pictures as possible because we wanted every kind of different scenario. And
with people, without people, alone, in a room, staged, not staged. Yeah,
exactly. And so in something like that, in those situations, we did have, those were professional shoots. You have to there's nothing you could do about that, like in certain situations. And so if you're in the industry or if you're in a business that requires, do that, but like Dave said, take advantage of it, make the most of it, and snap as many pictures as possible. And because, I know that for years we used those type of images, and it was just a good thing. So those are my final thoughts. Any final thoughts, Dave?
Mine would be, think about what questions you can answer visually. Like, is your location good for groups if you're a restaurant or a brewery or some sort of gathering place? Use your photos to show the large seating or small seating. Use it to tell your story of, you're dog friendly, you're kid friendly. It's bring your own beer. If you're some sort of contractor, show that you have a wide variety of projects that you work on. If it's, whatever your business is, think about what questions people ask, and think about, do the photos on the website, do our photos on our Facebook, on our Instagram, on each channel. Do we tell that story? Do we answer those questions? Because a lot of times I'll be like, well, I don't know if there's anywhere that I can work because I like to work remotely. I know I can go to Starbucks, but I don't drink coffee. So there might be other restaurants, and I don't know if it's new to me and it's in a different town. If I'm traveling, I don't know if there's a spot where I can sit out of the way, not impact other people, or maybe if I have a group, like many years ago when we were in Hawaii, and suddenly we realized that there was going to be about 30 or 40 of us for dinner on Valentine's Day. Was it Valentine's Day or Mother's Day?
It was Valentine's Day, yeah.
Yeah, and all of a sudden I realized, like, I wasn't speaking then and you were, and all of a sudden I realized that there was going to be 30 or 40 of us. So I started looking online, and I couldn't figure out who was going to be able to take on a group of probably 30 to 40 people. And so then I started wandering around based on the photos and talking to people and managers. But I used the photos and what I found on Yelp and what I found on their websites to help guide me to answer my question. So that's my biggest thing, is plan, take more photos than you ever could dream of. It's easy to just delete them. This isn't film, it's digital. And try to tell a story and answer questions.
Beautiful. All right. Well, you guys, I appreciate you sticking with us and listening through this one. As always, if there's any questions that you have, feel free to reach out to us. Small reminder, go and give us a rating on iTunes. We love the 5 stars. If this happens to be one of those 5-star listening podcasts for you,
we'll take 4.
4 or 5.
Let us know why.
And so feel
no
free
dog
to
barking
do that.
Today.
That's good for us. And so no dog barking today. But for Dave Rohr with Northside Metrics, I'm Matt Soltolo with Avalanche Media, and we appreciate you guys joining us, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.